Hello and welcome to Trying Times. My name's Carmen, and if you're new here, then welcome. Can I just say the biggest thank you ever for taking the time out to join me today and to be here? I appreciate you so much, and I hope you're having a wonderful day, afternoon, night. Whenever you're listening to this, I hope it's really wonderful. And yeah, thanks so much for joining me. And if you've listened before, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you, and I'm really excited to get into today's episode and this week's episode. So, yeah, this is a subject that I've wanted to talk about for a while, and I've kind of talked about mental health related topics many times in the past, but I felt a little more inspired today to talk about this, being that I literally just had therapy this morning, and I feel like every time I leave therapy, I feel really obviously clear-headed, and is that even a term? Lightheaded. No, that's not great. I feel really level-headed. That's what I mean to say. I feel really level-headed when I leave therapy, and I feel very just like calm and composed because, you kind of get that time to get a bunch of stuff off your chest and out of your head and off your shoulders and just out of your body as a whole. And it's a really special time, in my opinion, because I'm someone who, always really appreciated the concept of therapy and what it can do for not only myself, but for people in general. And I think in general, this process works in such an in-depth way for every single individual who chooses to embark on that journey for themselves and chooses growth in that way. Because therapy is not an easy thing to start, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's something that, helps to make your overall being and living a little bit better day by day. And it's something that I know helps me a lot and helps quite a few people I know as well. So I really wanted to focus on some things that not only I'm learning, but things that I've seen online. And a lot of that is becoming like my favorite right now. My favorite thing is seeing people share their own growth in this way online, whether that's physical, emotional, mental, all of the above. In any way, I really love seeing people document this for themselves and share this with the public because it's cool. It's something that, we never really actually get to always see or talk about or hear about all the time. So for me specifically, when I'm scrolling through TikTok, I get a lot of different videos. And then also on YouTube, I get quite a few videos. And a lot of these videos that I see are often revolving around the sort of idea of either one, learning to be more productive despite mental blockers, emotional blockers, any of that kind of stuff. And then two, body positivity and just learning to feel more comfortable in your body. And three, my favorite of all, giving yourself grace. This is very much currently a concept I'm learning more and more about myself right now. And I'll get into how to kind of do this for yourself in a couple different ways in a little bit. But I want to talk a bit more about these videos and what I see and kind of the inspiration, I guess, that I get from these things. I've kind of always pondered sharing my own journey online, but then it's something that I hold very close to myself, and I don't think I'm quite ready to share online, at least as of right now. And I can always applaud the people that I do see sharing their journeys online because one, I can't imagine that that's easy to do, but then two, to actually film or, record yourself in some way, whether it's even just audio and share that with the world is really special. Like, I find that so personal and almost very intimate in a way. And the fact that some people out there are so open and willing and confident in sharing that is really cool to me. And I think maybe one day in some way, some part of my journey, sure, I'll try to share that online. But as of right now, yeah, no, that's not for me. I think honestly, it's something that requires such mental strength to do. And it's kind of cool because in a way, a lot of people would kind of just like put themselves out there and try by just doing. They just kind of like put themselves in an uncomfortable spot and just record and share because they want to be able to feel that sort of community aspect or that relatability aspect, which a lot of people, myself included, really benefit from. So to the people that are taking those leaps and bounds and sharing their stories online, thank you so much because it helps a lot of people out there like me and so many others to see that we're not alone in whatever it may be that we're going through. So, the first thing that I kind of mentioned in terms of video styles is that whole idea of learning to be productive despite mental blocks. There's one creator that comes to mind who I actually don't watch as much anymore, but I did watch her a lot a couple years ago, and her name's My Fam. And she posts a lot on YouTube, and so much of her content is often related to this sort of like glow up, whether it's herself mentally, emotionally, her physical being, like the way she dresses, her makeup, giving herself a makeover, or even her space. Right now, I know she's currently living in New York, and a lot of her videos revolve around her making over her own space, which I find to be so fascinating. And it's really cool to see someone pour so much of their love and energy and attention into their physical space. Because obviously, yeah, that's where you're going to be living. You want it to be not only a comfortable space, but feel like your space. And that's something that she really does a lot of, and she does it well. And that's something that she's documenting a lot on her YouTube channel. So if that's something that you would want to watch, then I would definitely recommend seeing that. It's really cool to see someone play around with that idea and just kind of go full send for it and do what they want to do in that space. But a lot of her videos, at least where I initially kind of discovered her from, my sister had initially actually showed me her YouTube. The videos that I'd started watching of hers were her kind of doing makeovers for herself and getting herself out of a slump. And like I said, a lot of that is her physical being and how she looks, but a lot of it can also be the way that she cooks for herself, the way that she chooses to live. How much is she working out? Is she taking time to journal? Is she taking time to clean up her space every single day or bit by bit during the week? Whatever it may be. I found a lot of inspiration in watching her. And shortly after I started watching her, obviously, algorithm does the whole algorithm thing. And then I start getting a lot more YouTubers that do a similar vibe of video recommended to me. And slowly but surely, I'm not sure how this works, but as someone working in social media, I should probably know how this works. That sort of transfers over to TikTok. And so I was getting a lot of TikToks now that started to look like this whole idea of a makeover, and also specifically learning to be more productive despite your mental blocks, mental struggles, whatever it may be that's setting you back. It was this new sort of wave of people sharing more about their spaces, sharing more about how they're, working out a daily schedule to put themselves to task and do things, or really kind of test themselves and see how much they can get done. And by the way, when I say this whole idea of learning to be more productive, it doesn't have to be like you're doing a million and one things a day. It's more so just to see what you can do and how what you're doing makes you feel. And so I think that that's really cool to get to watch. And it's almost like being a fly on the wall in the sense, because you get to just watch somebody really push themselves and do things that they need to do and then feel better and come out on the other side, which is like just special. So that's one. Two is body positivity, and that entire genre of video, to me, I enjoy watching so much. I don't really know what I would classify my body type as, but a lot of the time, I do really enjoy watching people do mid-sized fashion videos on TikTok. And it's just like, I don't know, I feel like I found my people. And it's people that are always so happy to share what they're wearing, where it's from, the reason behind why they picked it. It could be somebody sharing more about a pair of pants that they got and the reason why they like wearing them, like maybe it accentuates their hips or their waist in a way that they like. It could be somebody sharing more about a pair of shoes that they got and why they like wearing those, whether it's something as simple as a colorway making them feel happy or being their favorite color, or something accentuating their features in a way that they really, really love and they feel happier and confident that way. I think that that's a very, very cool subgenre of video to get into. And it's a really great way if you're ever feeling like either really confident or maybe a little low in confidence and you're looking for some inspiration. I would 110% recommend looking for that type of video because it's amazing. So there's that. I don't particularly have a creator in mind for this type of content. And if I can think of one after recording, I'm probably gonna facepalm a little bit because I can't think of one off the top of my head. But I really love that genre. And then the last one I was talking about is this concept of giving yourself grace. I've seen some people on TikTok do this type of video very well. And in the instance that I've seen it, it's been a lot of people referring to themselves as your older sister. And it's just cool. It's like this very confident, comforting vibe of video where somebody's really confiding in you, but also there to help you and make you feel better and just remind you that everything's going to be okay. And I just find that type of video so heartwarming and special and comforting and also strengthening in a way. But I talked a little bit about how there's different concepts within this, and there's a lot that I'm learning about this right now, myself included. And so, something that I'm learning within this area of giving yourself grace is the idea of self validation and then self regulation. And whatever I describe this as, by the way, is not like the ultimate definition. There's more definitions out there. These are just the ones that I know right now. But the definitions I know in mind, at least of self validation, one is just to validate yourself, validate your emotions, validate your thoughts, validate your feelings. A lot of the time, it's very common and very easy and human nature of us to go to others that we trust and love to seek out validation in a thought we might have, in a question we might have. For instance, if you're putting on a shirt and you're like, I don't really know how I feel about this, you might want to text a friend or go into the next room and ask your sibling how it looks on you and get that sort of insight. And it might either validate something for you or invalidate something for you. And you're probably like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go change. But instead of doing that and practicing something like giving yourself grace, you could try practicing self validation and be like, okay, I'm trying out a new shirt today. Don't really know how I feel about it, but maybe I like the color of it. So I'm going to try wearing this out. I've never worn something like this before, so maybe I'll try it today. And if I don't like it, then I don't have to wear it again. Doing things like this to kind of learn what you do and don't want, and doing that for yourself, because that is a huge, huge root of confidence. And I think that that's so cool. The other side of it is self regulation. And I don't really have a clear, concise definition for this, but the sense that I can describe it is that maybe you're feeling quite an intense level of emotions. You can automatically feel very overwhelmed. And again, this could turn to seeking out validation from someone else. And there's nothing ever wrong in talking to anybody or asking for any help. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is sometimes, at least if you're like me, you might fail to just take a few moments to yourself. Just take a beat, go away, honestly, touch some grass, and then come back. There's a good chance you will probably find some clarity and feel a little bit better. For me, what I do is I literally sometimes will leave if I have the opportunity to, and I'll go sit somewhere on my own, somewhere quiet, isolated. Typically, like if you're at home, you'll go to your room if you're able to, and just kind of like pop some headphones in if you want to listen to some calming music, spa music, by the way. I don't know if you listen to Spotify or Apple Music, whatever it is. Check out a spa music playlist because those are wonderful for this type of thing. So, yeah, check out that and then give yourself a few moments with your eyes closed to regulate your breathing. And while you're doing this, you could even do like the whole box breathing technique, which is basically like you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, and then you breathe out for 4 seconds. And then before you start the cycle over again, you just hold and pause for 4 seconds. Doing that sort of thing for a few minutes can really help you regulate your emotions and get out of a foggy space. It's not going to fix everything 110%, but it does help you generally feel a little bit better, a little more clear-minded, and then also be able to function a little more mindfully. So that's something I 110% recommend trying. Again, I don't really have any sort of specific influencer or creator names for this type of content, but I'm sure if you go onto TikTok and you type in my older sister advice or that sort of title of just like my older sister advice, my older sister lessons, you'll probably come up with some of this content. And those are some of the greatest creators out there, in my opinion. So yeah, there's that. I've rambled for a little while, which I say this every time, but I want to ask you one question before I wrap up this episode. And that question is, are you seeing any of these kinds of videos when you're scrolling on TikTok, YouTube, wherever else it may be? This could be productivity videos, this could be body positivity videos, and it could be the whole giving yourself grace thing. Any of the above or all of the above. Are you seeing any of these? And if so, what kinds? Because I want to know. Share those with me at the Trying Times podcast on Instagram, because I would love to know and see if there's more creators that I've not heard of before, or if there's any other types of content in this sort of mental health and wellness space that you're a huge fan of. Please feel free to share those with me again over on Instagram. I would love to see those and hear from you and learn about more types of content in this sense, because I think that's wonderful and it's just something that's kind of inspiring to me. But yeah, that's everything for today. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you so, so much. And we'll chat again soon, okay? Bye.